Candy Show.
Okay, so this little Kwame Brown thing is probably the most trending thing right now, especially in the sports world and,
so
and
who
YouTube.
is he?
So first and foremost, Kwame Brown, and this is funny because Kwame Brown in 2001 was the first overall draft pick to the Washington Wizards. It stands out to me. I would have been I guess 11, 12 that year. And I remember Kwame because that was the first time ever. There was high school people that came out into the NBA like Kevin Garnett, Kobe, but he was the first high school player to ever be drafted number 1 in 2001. So he came straight out of high school.
So what happened with LeBron?
He was first, but he was 0304. So
okay.
Kwame Brown was 2001 draft. I'm pretty sure 2000, 2001. And LeBron was 0304. So he was the first high school player to be drafted number 1. Like I said, Garnett came out in 96. Kobe came out in 96. Jermaine O'Neal. So there was high schools, but he was the first guy to come out number 1. Now, also I remember that was when Tyson Chandler was drafted number 2. Pau Gasol was drafted number 3. Now that Pau Gasol came straight out of high school, but those are the guys kind of in that draft. But Tyson Chandler came straight out of high school too. But what was interesting about the Kwame Brown, he went to the Wizards, and that was Michael Jordan's Wizards. So he caught a lot of flack because Michael Jordan would go out of his way to say how soft he was and blah blah blah. But like Michael Jordan was 39 at that point. He played in an era where like young guys had to earn their spot, but that they were coming into this era where if you were drafted at number 1 out of high school or even college, whatever, you were going to get PT. So I heard a lot of the stir up in the media was from Jordan kind of trashing Kwame, and then Kwame became kind of this like bus guy, but he ended up playing on the Lakers in big playoff games like in 06, 07. Not big playoff, but he had like 13 points, 8 rebounds type shit.
But basically for a first round pick.
Yeah, it's not good. No, it could have been
bust.
It could have been worse. And again, I don't want to say it, just like Jalen Rose said, a bust who made $65 million over it's hard to say someone's a bust who made $65 million in 12 years.
I'm saying from public perspective.
From public perspective, yeah. And that's kind of Kwame's big thing, and some of the people that defend him was and there's been worse busts like Anthony Bennett number 1 and Hasheem Thabeet and a lot of these guys who came out and didn't do anything.
Right.
But yeah, his career average I think is like 6 points, 5 rebounds. He retired by like 30. Played in like 12 years. So to be honest, I don't even know what got it started or what made him come out of the woodworks.
Yeah, what was the start? Do you know?
I went back and watched some of the videos. So All the Smoke podcast is Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, which is a big podcast now. They're signed to Showtime.
What's it called?
All the Smoke.
They're signed to Showtime?
Yeah,
the podcast?
Yeah, bro, it's big. Showtime Sports, yep. And so it's one of the big ones. And Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, 2 former NBA players. And they went out of their way. I saw Gilbert Arenas was on there recently. Yeah. And Gilbert Arenas was on the Wizards, came to the Wizards, and he made some comments basically just talking about Kwame, and they were kind of like giggling and kind of trashing him in the back and basically saying, because Gilbert made a comment like he was so big but had small hands, so like he would run and the ball would be there and he would be gone, and they were kind of just joking on him. But Gilbert would back him. He was like, no, he had a lot of talent. He could have been like an Anthony Davis, just never was really built right. But Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes were kind of smirking. And then there was this old video of Stephen A. Smith with Jalen Rose, and Jalen Rose is an OG now, especially being ESPN this long, but Stephen A. Smith goes out of way to call him a bust, and that's when the Jalen Rose stood up for him, was like, there's no such thing as a bust. A guy who came from Charleston, South Carolina like him, to be the number 1 overall draft pick, to make $65 million, you can call whatever you want a bust. To us, that's a success story.
That is a success.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is a success
that's
story.
amazing.
So it's like,
especially at a high school.
Yeah, look at it at a deeper level. Of course, there's just some sports media talk of one bust, average 6.5 reasons, we get it. But from the real story, and that's kind of what this is. It's this whole Kwame Brown experience to me is something authentic, and all the things he's saying. I know like a lot of people probably haven't heard people say this. I've heard heard these things, in the big like the Charlamagne thing. Right. And Charlamagne did just come back today on Breakfast Club and made himself Donkey of the Day. Charlamagne called himself Donkey of the Day and apologized to Kwame. Because the thing with Charlamagne, he's from South Carolina too. And he went out of the way to make these comments about Kwame Brown's dad having like a murder charge. And
I heard that.
Yeah.
And his brother like killing his wife and then committing suicide, like crazy shit.
Yep. And Kwame, and like I said, Charleston, South Carolina, especially being powerful black men to come out of those cities, you're going to have a lot of people that know each other, friends, cousins, whatever. Yeah. So Charlamagne came back today literally and gave himself Donkey of the Day and apologized. And again, so just before I even get to the Charlamagne, like Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, Kwame Brown's biggest thing was just for them to go out of their way to try to not even kill another black man's character, but to just kind of belittle another black man. That was his big thing. And Kwame's being like, well, Steven Jackson's the big guy, like out Black Lives Matter, power of the people, power of the black man, and then but then he's the quickest to try to diss another black man. And that's all Kwame was saying. He's like, man to man, we can just talk. It's not, why you go? He's like, there's not been a white man who's ever went out to try to criticize me like another black man is, and you're supposed to be this power to the people type thing.
Right. So let's clear this up real quick because I'm confused. So like they talk shit about him on the Full Smoke. What's
all
the podcast?
The Smoke, yeah.
All the Smoke podcast, and then he responded.
And just said that stuff like, you're a quick. And I know. And then Steven Jackson came back and said something and was like, and basically they got into like a text message war behind the scenes, and Steven Jackson like kind of threatened him. Steven Jackson is known to have some street ties and stuff, and I guess he even made a comment like he could pull up on him in traffic, aka like pull up on him and shoot him. And Kwame took that as offense. He's like, I drive my 16-year-old son around places. Like that's not joking words, And I was like, he was like, man to man, we can just box. And then once he said that behind the scenes, he's like, I'm not even gonna box with you because you're willing to take it to a place that I don't even want to be around. And
damn.
So that was that.
That's aggressive.
So it seems that Kwame went at all these people that went out of their ways to kind of slight him. And I'm assuming, obviously, he's about to have some kind of show. I'm sure he's got big podcast deals on the table already, the way he's making. Yeah. And he dropped one today. He keeps going, he says, Mama's cooking. Mama's cooking. Yeah, Mama's cooking. So,
Mama's recipe or something like that.
So I think he's going to have some like Mama's cooking with Kwame Brown. And he's actually live talking
for
right
those,
now.
For those just listening to us right now, we're watching his live stream that has 26,000 views on YouTube, which is a decent amount of views. And he's just sitting here smoking hookah. Yeah. So we have the live stream while we're recording, which is kind of funny.
And on a deep, so he caught
he's
up.
He's big as fuck too. He's making that hookah look small. Yeah. Look at that. He's like 7 foot.
Yeah,
and shit looks little.
He called out Stephen A. Smith, Charlamagne, Jamel Hill, Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless was hilarious. He's like, how can you, someone who looks like he's from Dawn of the Dead, say anything about me? I've been talking anything about sports. You look like you should be filming in Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. But just on like to me, what it is, it's just something. He's talking truth. He's just being real about it. And I know, like, a lot of people have never even seen people call these type of people out. He called out LeBron James because LeBron James, after that Lakers-Warriors game, which Drake and Michael B. Jordan were sitting outside, courtside, and LeBron went to this after party, but it's violating COVID protocols. You can't go to like after parties. I don't know the exact rules, but he violated protocols, and it went out. NBA says LeBron violates protocols. And Kwame went out of his way to say that all these other people violated protocols, had to be in quarantine for 10 to 14 days. And why does LeBron get this pass? And that one even wasn't really one of the bigger ones. I just thought that was interesting. LeBron's tied his group. But he did in the video, they showed this guy. I think Kwame didn't make this video. Another guy made the video. It was like of LeBron James in this Geico commercial wearing like a wig and shit. He's like, that's why LeBron James gets those passes. That was another guy like making fun of the whole thing, putting it all together. But anyway, yeah. But shout out to Kwame Brown. I wish I knew what he was talking about right here. I just watched his video he dropped this morning, Mama's Cooking. And he must be really about to have something pop off. I'm assuming a big podcast.
Stephen A. Smith is the ESPN guy?
ESPN guy, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And he was like, I'm going to smack that toupee off.
Yeah, I said that toupee off, yeah.
What do you think? He made the comment, he was like, you guys make a living talking about teenagers and spiting teenagers. Like, what do you make of that point?
You know what I'm saying about Stephen A. Smith?
Yeah, well, I mean, he was just saying the ESPN commentators. Yeah. He's like, I don't know if he was definitely talking about black youth, but I think even in just that second, he was just saying teenagers.
Right. And it goes to that thing.
How do you feel? Because, I mean, that's like ESPN, they're supposed to report on sports.
Right.
So but at the same point, is it like because they're doing it in a negative manner, is there a better way of presenting it?
Exactly. So, again, it comes down to, we get it. ESPN's his thing. He has a job. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean that someone who's living their real life isn't going to be affected. That could affect their real life. Yeah. So when Stephen A. Smith goes, he's a big black guy with small hands who can't rebound, he's a bust, that could hurt another black man's pockets. So he's
it's
saying
more the delivery.
It's the delivery, and and again, I see both perspectives. Stephen A. Smith has a job to do. Yeah. Kwame Brown's like, but that job affects my real life. And you're supposed to, and again, it comes to this thing, we live in this culture now where and they're Black Lives Matter and they want to be other black men backing black men and black women, and then Kwame's saying they're just quick to criticize and hurt other black men's pockets, but you're supposed to be we're all on this team, but he's right. Shout out to Kwame Brown. I wish I knew what he's talking about. He brought the hookah. He brought out the purple.
Yeah, with the white fucking Cuban hat.
And his
with the
video's
purple
get
tie.
Like 300, 400, 500,000 views right now.
Yeah.
And people tweeting at him, Jamel Hill. So, like I said, I'm assuming we're about to hear some podcast news.
He's getting a lot of love, too.
A lot of love.
The comments,
yeah.
That's a lot
I got my
of
family.
love
Chris Kandis is hitting me up, like, loving it. Like, it's loving it, bro. They're like, Kwame speaking so much truth. Like, I think he might get taken out and stuff like that.
Like crazy at the pool today. Listen to that shit.
It's incredible. And again, like, some of like me, I've been kind of, I've had my eye to the table for a long time. So he just saying some real shit that I've heard before. But a lot of people haven't heard anyone with like power. And it's really what makes this big is because he's came from the NBA, has a profile, and is saying these real things. Most people aren't saying real things like that. And that's his thing, too, was that Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson act like those guys, but really aren't. And that was kind of his thing. And honestly, it reminds me like that. I don't want to say Dame Dashing, but kind of. It's just like about being a man, and I like that shit. You know what I'm saying? That shit resonates to me.
He was mimicking Matt Barnes, and that shit had me cracking
Becky with a toupee?
Yeah.
Becky with a toupee? Bro, I don't laugh out loud at my shit. But there's a couple moments he'll say something.
No, I was laughing out loud. I had my AirPods in at the pool with my girl, just tanning. I was laughing out loud about some of the shit he was saying.
People don't make me get
Look at him pointing right now.
He's funny, bro. I'm about to watch one. He just dropped the video early. He's really, like, literally, if you go to his YouTube channel, which is called Kwame Brown, something with 3 words after it, but he's posted, like, a couple videos a day. If you go to like 4 days ago, in 4 days there's like 20 videos. So he's on top of it right now. So I'm actually curious what the next step is. But
well, shout out to Mr. Brown.
I might go on. I almost went on eBay today and looked at his Kwame Brown rookie cards. I was gonna cop one just because of they're probably cheap and just because he's gonna be really big right now. And who knows what next couple of years ago. Damn. I shouldn't have told people that, but we can get a cheap one just for fun.
I mean,
who cares?
That's a good idea.
Might as well. Yeah. I mean, he's gonna rock and roll. I mean, he's gonna get a huge show. I mean, who knows? It'll be worth.
My brother isn't the smartest, but sometimes he has a little spark about something, and that was a good one right there.
Tom's got everything he knows, but I'm gonna look on eBay at Kwame Brown.
That's a good idea.
But
is that it? With
that's cool with Kwame Brown. Shout out to Kwame Brown, and we're gonna keep showing the journey. Again, this is happening as we speak, so that's our.
I'm sure this won't be the last time we speak on him.
I mean, literally live right now, a bunch of videos. So we'll see this all goes. Shout out to Kwame Brown, Team Kwame Brown. I might get a Kwame Brown picture behind me next.
Damn.